Okay, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to show you a national beehive, the most common beehive in the UK. It's made of cedar. This particular one's got a galvanised roof, and it's a deep 6-inch roof. These are available in the 4-inch or 6-inch. I'm going to start with the Varroa floor and the alighting board. This is an alighting board, acts as a base. This gives the bees somewhere to land and to walk up. When they're heavily laden with pollen and honey, it's easier for them to land rather than trying to crawl up the front. Here we have a Varroa floor, the entrance, and the floor. This particular floor has a tray and a mesh floor, so the Varroa mites can drop through the Varroa mesh and not climb back in and die at the bottom. It's on there. The purpose of the tray is for inspection. So you can do a mite inspection by counting the mites on the floor. This is recommended. Not only does it give ventilation to the hive, it also controls Varroa mite. Move on then to the brood box, which sits on top. The brood box, as you can see, is deeper than what we call the super. In here we have different types of frames. This particular frame with the spacers is known as the DN1s, and you use narrow spacers in the brood box. And they are spaced using the spacers like so. We go on to what we call the Hoffmans, or DN4s. These are self-spacing frames. As you can see, they're spaced like that. Also available are plastic frames. These are designed on the DN4s. They have self-spacing also. With these you can use wireless foundation. And these plastic frames are very versatile. On top of the brood box we use what we call a queen excluder. This prevents the queen coming up through into the super. Various types of queen excluders. This is a wire type. This is the most bee-friendly queen excluder that you can use. It also has a bee space, so the bees can work over the top of the frames. There are other types of queen excluders. This is an old style zinc, not very good. They bend, they're flexible, very sharp edges. There's a new style called the harmless queen excluder, all plastic, cheap, but it does tend to stick to the top of the frames. We then move on to the super, which sits on top of the queen excluder, like so. Again, different types of frames. SN4 frames, same self-spacing. SN1s, with wider spacers on the top. Plastic. And what we call manly frames. These have wide sides. These are very easy when you're extracting your honey and decapping the comb. Very often during the peak season you can end up with 2, 3 or possibly 4 supers, which could be filled by the bees depending on how busy they are and what type of weather it is. This is what we call a crown board. This has bee space top and bottom, and these have bee escapes. You don't usually use these until you want the bees removed from the supers. And then we have the roof. And that's a complete national beehive.